Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Locked On Bulls. In today's episode, we're going to talk about Zach LaVine missing another game. We're going to preview the Wizards game. We're going to get into both of those and some more right after this.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every day. That's Pat the Designer, host and creator of the Windy City Breeze. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls and Chicago Bears Central. And today's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline has you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. BetOnline is where the game starts. Pat, Zach LaVine is going to miss yet another game. Now, they did kind of warn us that this was going to be happening, more load management, things like that. But, Zach LaVine missing the first two games of the season is just a bad taste, bro. Like anything else, before we get into any theories, any concerns, it's just a bad taste overall, bro. What do you think?
Yeah, to me, right, poor PR move. I don't like the decision to do it, right? Because at a minimum, if you wanted to rest him up and make him, I guess, feel better, you do that a couple of games into the season, or at least just be like, hey, we're gonna play you 10 minutes tonight, or we're going to play you 15 minutes tonight just to work your knee back in, right? Load management. But that's not what we got. I mean, we got Zach LaVine missing the first game of the season and now the second game of the season. And we know why, right? Like, hey, they want to see Zach LaVine back in the home opener. They want him there first. And it's tough to say that I agree with it. Mm-hmm. But when you see it coming back, right, you get Cavaliers Saturday. Zach LaVine, that will be his first game. Mm-hmm. Gets rest. Then you get Celtics on Monday, which I did not know. So now I have to double up on the live calls on that. We're going to get a double live call Monday.
Crap. We got to pull double duty Monday?
Hey, bro, I got to pull double duty Monday. I was not expecting that.
We both have to. We have triple duty Monday.
Oh, yeah, we got to do this show, too.
Yeah.
But then after that, right, like, you get a little bit of a break, right? Next game versus the Pacers. Next game versus the Spurs. So it allows him to kind of get his feet wet. Yes, versus some tougher competition, but then to get, okay, these guys, they're okay. They might compete in the East, but probably not. A couple of easy games to make you feel better about just him getting himself running out there, moving his body. I don't agree with how they went about it, but there's not a lot of good points in this schedule for you to just drop Zach LaVine in and say, okay, go figure out life, right? Like, I guess if you're going to load manage the first two games, especially with us winning Miami's game now, you would feel okay going into Washington's game saying we're going to get that one fine. Like taking the time frame out of and just looking at the teams we're playing, I get it. The time frame of it is stupid, though.
The time frame sucks to start off the season that way. But when you look at it, like you said, the fact of the matter is that he wasn't going to ever play both games of a back-to-back, right?
No.
So
and he probably
Washington, Cleveland, exactly. You want him to be in that first home opener against Cleveland, and then he gets a day of rest. You definitely want him against Boston. They're going to probably rest him on Wednesday against Indiana. He maybe even get a chance to rest against either Indiana and San Antonio. He's going to rest one of those games because those are teams that the Bulls can beat without him. And then we got Philadelphia next Saturday, and then Brooklyn next Tuesday, and then Charlotte on Wednesday. So you can kind of see just by looking at the schedule the days that they're going to try to get Zach LaVine some rest in there. Do you think though, and I know you said the timing sucks. We can even kind of understand load management to a degree. Do you think this is a thing throughout the whole season? Do you think this is more a thing maybe the first quarter of the season? Do you think that we're going to see no Zach LaVine or most back-to-backs all season long? Or do you think we get to the point to where it's not necessarily him missing back-to-backs, but maybe one of those back-to-backs he plays 17 minutes?
I think that's what it'll turn into. I don't think that you're going to make him miss every back-to-back this season, right? Like, that's just not – at that point, the NBA is going to look at you and be like, we come on now. Like, we let him miss the season opener.
Yeah.
y'all tweaking now, right? Like when you kind of want to keep the NBA out of it. So I think that it will get to a point where maybe Zach LaVine doesn't play nearly as much in the second of those back-to-backs. But here's the thing, right? That's what's normal. That's what you want to see with the solid bench there. I don't want DeMar DeRozan playing that much in the second of a back-to-back. I don't want Vooch playing that much in the second of a back-to-back. It's the second of a back-to-back. So it's something that the Bulls are going to have to deal with all season. I think that's the reason you go with so much bench depth on this team. It's the reason you brought in Drummond, Dragic, right? Those guys. It's the reason that you go out and you get a rookie that you feel like might be able to contribute this season, and you have Ayo Dosunmu already on the team, right? So I don't think that we'll see Zach LaVine miss every back-to-back game, but I said Zach's probably going to play. And here's the norm for everybody. Like, I know it sucks for, like, the old school. You get out there, people want to see you. They want to see. What if a kid paid money to see you that night? But when you're paying somebody $250 to $300 million, you're going to protect your asset. The Chicago Bulls are going to allow Zach LaVine probably to play between 65 and 70 games this year. I would say probably closer to 65. And yes, I said allow him to. These are scheduled days off. This is not Zach LaVine having an injury. This is not his knee having issues. I know that there's people out there that are like, he's hurt again. He's always hurt. This ain't him being hurt. This is the NBA saying, or this is the Chicago Bulls saying, yeah, we paid you a lot of money and we want to make sure that you're going to get the most out of it for us.
I think also outside of even just that, it's also hey, if you have faith in this team and that you're going to be a playoff team, you want everybody to be as healthy as possible. Mm-hmm. You're already getting basically, especially if he comes back and contributes, you're getting a midseason acquisition in Lonzo Ball. You want everybody to be healthy for a playoff run because you don't want to have to fully evaluate this team, right? You don't want to have the injury concerns going into the playoffs. You want to see how does this team, as close to fully healthy as possible, whatever that looks like at that time, really look in a first round series. And then you start making your adjustments there. So, yeah, it's going to be that, like I said, even when you look at like players that some of the best players in the league only play 70 games a season. Like, yeah, we're saying Zach LaVine's going to miss considerably more than that again, but he had, even though minor, an off-season surgery, so it kind of makes sense there.
I think, right, like that's just the modern NBA.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, if
people are just more aware of how you take care of your body over the season.
More aware of how you take care of your body. Realize that, right, like there's going to be games where there's going to be times where you really don't care about losing to that team, or there's going to be times where the team on the other side doesn't matter to you in the long run, and you feel like you can beat them with Kobe White, Dalen Terry, and the rest of them boys, right? Like, there's going to come those games in the season, and there's going to be managed rest for these guys. I can't say I don't like it because, right, like I've been to that game where Zach LaVine doesn't play. Mm-hmm. I've been to that game where I came there to see this guy play and he rested or he sat because of load management, right? I think I think I went to a Bulls game 2019 or something like that, like right before the pandemic hit. And I mean, like, you know, I had to be a fan because I went to the game. And I think Lowry sat out and Zach sat out and it sucked, right? Like, you're watching it and you're like, we're about to get killed because I'm watching Campaign go out here and do things. But at the end of the day, these are not your average players anymore. This isn't Michael Jordan making a little bit of money for most of his career. This isn't Scottie Pippen making a little bit of money for most of his career. These dudes are making more than most corporations are getting.
They're making a lot of players now are making more in 2 seasons than some of our greats in the NBA made their whole playing career.
Yeah, and listen, and they not greats, right? Like, so, yeah. and that's what I mean by it. Like, this is the modern league, and now, right, having a player that is a $200 million player, whether you think he is or not,
first one in Bulls history as well.
They're gonna protect him.
Yeah,
they're not gonna run him out there. I can't say I'm a fan of it, but I have to understand what it is, and I do understand why they're doing what they're doing.
We'll understand when Zach LaVine's fully healthy, and even though if he starts off this season slow, he's dropping 28 in the playoffs. We'll all understand at that point in time why.
I will say that's gonna be tough.
It is. Listen, we got a long season to get there.
If he comes out versus the Cavaliers and he shoots
flat
4 for 19, bro.
Oh well, I'm not saying. I think
we gotta get up on this one.
I think what we've seen from Zach is that if he doesn't have it, we do see Zach be more of a distributor. Now he still messes up in some of that, but we've seen him now be more willing to do that. So
handles, yeah. And by the way, for everybody that says you can't be a great player in this NBA without a ball handle, I watch Jaylen Brown on almost a nightly basis. That boy be turning the ball over,
bro.
Bro,
Let's talk about it, bro.
If Zach LaVine turns into Jaylen Brown, I feel real good about our team.
There you go. All right, man. Next up, we're going to talk about the Bulls game tomorrow, or today, I should say, against the Washington Wizards. First, I got to talk to you guys about BetOnline. BetOnline.net is your number one source for your betting, football, and the start of the new basketball season. Find all the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, and in-depth analysis on every game. And as always, BetOnline remains your continued source for all your sports wagering information with live betting and up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. The fastest and easiest way to check in on all your favorite games and events, including MLB, MMA, boxing, and golf. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline is where the game starts. All right, Pat. The Bulls face the Washington Wizards with Bradley Beal, Kristaps Porzingis, Daniel Gafford, who's coming off the bench now apparently for that team. Are you worried at all about the Wizards?
No.
Okay. And that's why we're probably going to see when you say stuff like that, it's going to be one of those games that DeMar has to bail us out with a 3-pointer at the end of the game.
For sure. I know 100%. Like, I fully expect that, but I'm also not worried. Bail us out still means we got bailed out. No. I'm going to be real with you, right? I think the Wizards are a more improved team than probably most people do. I want to see kind of how the continuity of that team works together, and I think they might not be there yet. But I'm also not going to just act like there's not some guys on that team that seemingly have figured their game out, namely one Kyle Bartholomew Kuzma. I don't know if that's his middle name or not. But
listen, I'll say my part later. Go ahead, bro. Don't let me cut you off.
No, I was just going to say game one, right? And I said he figured it out versus us. I'll say that to the end of the year. Remember that one game where Kuz just started cooking down low because Javonte Green was on him? He very
much figured out kind of like what Vooch did in the preseason. Work from the inside out. All right, I got you. Don't even worry about it.
Figured it out versus us. Since then, Kyle Kuzma has been cooking. 22-13 in his first game. I'm more worried about Kyle Kuzma killing us than I am Bradley Beal. And that's just, and it's not, I mean, 22-13, Kristaps adding 15 and 10. We're going to need some help on the boards down there. P. Will, I'm looking at you. And then Bradley Beal basically 23-5 in his first game, 23-6-5. But there's not really a real facilitator on that team. And that's kind of the part where, Io, hey, I got another matchup for you, Io. I need you to come check out Brad Beal right here. I need you to see if you got another son in the NBA. Show me that. Let's see what we got here. So,
with Zach not being there, it's probably going to be Caruso guarding Bradley Beal. But go ahead, keep going.
No, I was just going to say, I got the Bulls. I feel good about the Bulls in this one.
This is what I was going to say that I had to stop myself from saying is that Patrick Williams has to win this matchup against Kyle Kuzma. And I mean defensively. I'm not even talking about Patrick Williams coming out and outscoring him. I'm saying defensively, Patrick Williams has to step up against Kyle Kuzma because I tell you what, at this point, the only reason it makes sense to start Patrick Williams is he does offer some legit size. Yeah. Like you said, you don't want Kyle Kuzma going up against Javonte Green if you can avoid it. This could be the game that we see Patrick Williams lose the starting position because if Kyle Kuzma cooks his ass, locked on. If Kyle Kuzma cooks him,
I think we can say that on here.
We can. Yeah, we can say that. If Kyle Kuzma,
letter words we got to avoid.
If Kyle Kuzma cooks Patrick Williams, at that point, like I know we have the Cavs front court coming in town after that on Saturday, but Patrick Williams has to play well against Kyle Kuzma. I want to see him because I trust almost everybody else to win their defensive assignments. I trust Io to win his defensive assignment. I trust Alex Caruso to win his defensive assignment. I trust DeMar DeRozan, who is the starting three. Is Will Barton the starting three for?
Will Barton would be the starting three.
I trust DeMar to be able.
No, Denny now, right?
I don't think he's starting, is he?
Maybe not.
Denny is starting, but he's day-to-day. He may not play tomorrow. I think he has actually listed as out tomorrow.
Did he get hurt? Okay.
Yeah, so it'll probably be Will Barton. And then Vooch, in the way that he's improved on defense, it's going to be interesting to see between him and Kristaps who decides to play defense that game because we know Kristaps, if you play defense against Kristaps, he's going to give you 2 quarters where he's going to try. If you can weather those 2 quarters, he gonna be like, hey man, listen, I'll catch you on the perimeter.
Yeah, it depends on which 2 quarters you get, right? Like
Yeah,
if he's shooting well early, you're gonna get the back end 2 quarters. If he's not shooting well early, you're gonna get the front end 2 quarters. No, 100%, right? I think to me, this matchup is going to be you have to focus on that matchup with P. Will, right? Because that's the one spot that I feel like the Bulls really don't have an answer right now. And I hate to say it that way, but it's being 100%, like Patrick Williams offensively isn't an answer for us right now. I mean, solid 4 points in 26 minutes. I hope, and it's one game, but I hope that like this one game of us going, that don't look good. And Billy Donovan going, he's got to be more aggressive. I hope this one game says in game 2, you're going to give me a little bit more. But we'll see. I can't count on that. I can't believe that that's just going to happen because I like Patrick Williams. At this point now, he's shown me not only just in the preseason, but in the regular season, he don't want to take those shots. Like that's what it is. He doesn't want to.
That's a problem.
I need you to want to. Like he took his first shot in the second quarter. Zach LaVine's not playing. I love him. I love the intangibles. I love everything that he can do when he decides to do it. But I need you to decide to do it in this game. And I'll tell you what, you got a much tougher matchup in this game than you did in the last one.
Yeah, very much. Matter of fact, the next 2 games.
Now, Kuzma's not going to play no defense either. But
well, this is very true. This is very Kuzma like, hey man, did you want to score? Oh, go ahead, man. Don't let me stop you from doing that.
That's the question mark, right? And that's the part where we like. I mean, honestly, if we go through this stretch, let me pull this schedule up again here. If we go through this stretch, right, and let's see kind of who P. Will's going to be matched up against. And I know we don't want to go too deep down a P. Will rabbit.
Oh well, I can tell you right now because it's this game against the Wizards, it's the Cavs, and then it's Boston. He got some work cut out for him the next 3 games, bro.
But even this, right? Like if we get Wizards, Cavs, he's gonna have Jared Allen probably the guard. That's a little more work. And Boston, who's he going up against? Because Time Lord's out.
Well, Patrick Williams isn't guarding centers anyway. He's going to be guarding the power forward, so he's going to probably be guarding Jason Tatum.
Tatum is playing that weird forward thing for them. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You got a tough time headed. I was gonna shape it as like if he doesn't get going in these next 3 games, is that where our concern kind of builds? Like, oh, maybe he's just not taking these shots, or this just isn't him. But no, he got some tough matchups in these next 3. So. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He got some very tough matchups.
Mobley probably, right? And
he got Mobley. He's gonna have Mobley Saturday. Tatum Friday. Probably. Monday. Oh yeah, Monday, and then
Kuzma Friday. But then even then, after that, we got Indiana. Don't know who their starting 4 is off the top of my head. He should be able to beat him. I don't even know who he is.
Oh man,
should be able to beat him.
Devin Vassell?
He's not playing the 4.
Oh, he's not playing the power 4. He's playing 3. Yeah, he's playing 3.
Is he playing the 4? Is that what we're doing? Yeah. That's how they trying to get my boy out of there, huh? By the way, I'm taking that trade anytime.
Devin Vassell for Patrick Williams straight up. Right now, you taking it.
Bro, I'm telling y'all, go to the Windy City Breeze and look up my reaction to Devin Vassell. That year in the draft, because I knew we weren't getting Anthony Edwards. I knew we weren't getting LaMelo. I knew we weren't getting James Wiseman. He's the only player that made me get out my seat.
I'm high on Devin Vassell too.
And guess what?
Not as high as you.
All the intangibles that Patrick Williams has coming out of college that I liked, shooting 50% from the field, shooting 45+% from the 3-point line. Devin Vassell does those, but he takes the shots. That's my one guy. That's the only guy I'm looking at right now, and I'm like, if somebody brought it to me, I'd make the trade. Who's Jeremy Shohan?
Shohan? Yeah.
Shohan or Keldon Johnson. Yeah, if either of them cook you, P. Will, yeah, we got some issues.
If you let a rookie cook you, P. Will, yeah, you got to sit down, bro. I don't even care at that point. If a rookie cooks Patrick Williams, he got to sit down.
We just went down to like a real we got
a rabbit hole.
We need you to get better out here, and we gonna work our way back out of this. But it
doesn't get any easier after that, bro. Like this schedule is tough, bro.
The season schedule is tough, and that's really what it comes down to. Hopefully P. Will has a good game this next game versus the Wizards, and none of our concerns come to fruition for the rest of the season, and he dominates the rest of the way. That's the hope. in Bulls Nation out here, right? Don't be a weirdo.
No, you have those weird fans. They want to see Patrick Williams suck, so
Right,
they can put in Jeremy Grant. I'm not Jeremy Grant. But then
I went
Javonte
Jerry
Green.
Bro. I went Jerry and Grant on it.
That's even worse. Javonte Green in, and then when Javonte Green's getting just outworked on the length side of things by 6'11" power forwards, they're gonna be like, well, why are we starting the 6'4" shooting guard at power forward? Well,
don't be a weirdo that wants your players to fail so you can be right. That's my slogan for the rest of the season, bro. Don't be a weirdo, because that's so weird to me, bro. That's so weird.
It's definitely weird.
It's like, oh, Kobe White sucks. Look at him. I hope he's trash.
And then you know what? And then those are the same people that'll be like, but then they'll be like, well, let's trade him for Jordan Clarkson. What?
Hey, Kobe, that Portland pick, bro. I can't wait till the Portland pick's gone. I can't wait until the Portland pick is gone, bro.
Oh man, you and me
that
both,
Portland
bro.
pick has been included in every trade, and they don't realize that outside of the lottery, or if
the
Portland
protections
lands in
on
the
it,
lottery,
yeah,
it's
we don't get it.
We don't get it.
Yeah. Wow, bro. Go ahead, man.
Before we get into the final segment, man, we do want to thank you guys for tuning in to Locked On Bulls. Your first listen every day. Now, make your second listen game to game, NBA, every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across the NBA with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. If you see the latest clip that was retweeted over on the Locked On Bulls page, our own CEO Haize was featured in today's episode of Game to Game. So shout out to him. Killing.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Oh, well, yeah. Follow Game to Game, man. They using your likeness and everything, bro. They're not paying you for none of it. I'm just playing. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NBA. Available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcast.
That's hilarious, bro. How the hell I get featured in something that I didn't even know about? That's wild.
They put the Locked On Nows in there.
Oh, well, that's fair, bro. That's fair. Fire though. Fire content. Nonetheless, so we talked a lot about some of our concerns, right? Going into this Washington Wizards game. What are some of the things that the Bulls did well that you think they're going to continue to find success against the Washington Wizards?
I think, right. Of course, DeMar DeRozan is going to do what DeMar does. I fully expect that at this point. I like that we finally have that. But I think that there's a attack mode that has been activated in Ayo Dosunmu. And I think that's going to become something else that will continue to be a constant. And that's what's going to make this Bulls team dangerous, right? Because me and you talked about it last season, right? Booch rolls out of bed, he's going to give you a double-double.
Yeah.
A double-double's coming from Booch no matter what. So now you need that one other player that you can look at and say, hey, what are you going to give me? Are you going to give me something good? Are you going to be able to help DeMar out when DeMar needs help? Ayo Dosunmu came up big, knocking down a couple of three-pointers. I'll even go as far. Kobe White came up
in the second half, for sure.
Decent, right? Decent. Did a couple of things to get to the bucket. I like what he did defensively. But to me, right, like the scoring around DeMar's scoring, that's what I think the Bulls can keep up, because especially against Bradley Beal, right? We've seen Ayo kind of go to work against Bradley Beal last season. Now I want to see, okay, I'm coming back to see you again. And more than likely, I mean, he's probably guarding Beal, you think, right? Or you throwing Caruso on him?
I'm throwing Caruso on Beal.
He's so quick.
Only because I said, and the reason why I say that is because Ayo at this point, especially with Zach out, I think his offense is needed, and you don't want to deplete him on defense. Because we need him more on the offensive end of things. And we know that Caruso's shooting up and down as far as in this first game. But, like, Caruso is a more disruptive defender than Ayo is. Ayo is a good body. I'm going to put a body on you. I'm going to make the shot uncomfortable. But Caruso's like, I'm about to make you turn it over, and we're about to get on the fast break, and I'm probably going to dunk on you if you can't get back on me fast enough.
I'm not going to lie, right? Like, you talked about Ayo kind of in the first segment and how – oh, no, we talked about Ayo kind of off the air on a topic that we'll have another day. But when you look at Ayo's game, right, like the concern that I had between him and Lonzo was that without Lonzo, like you just saw, right, Lonzo would grab the ball, flick his wrist, we're on the fast break. Ayo did some of that. Ayo wasn't waiting, and it was to the point during the live call, I was pissed, bro, because I'm like, he's gone. Where's the rest of the team?
I would say that it was one game, but at least in that one game, it was a very Lonzo Ball-esque performance. And I would say this, like, and this again, this is not to say Ayo's better than Lonzo or anything like that. Ayo has been a more versatile scorer than what Lonzo was for us. Period. Because Lonzo operated primarily at the 3-point line, and we understood that. He was great at it.
No
but
cap. Lonzo was terrible at layups. That's wild to say.
Ayo,
terrible at them.
Ayo putting the ball on the floor, and now with that improved strength saying, oh, I'm finna go to the cup, and you can't body me off my direction. If you do, it's going to be a foul. Yeah. If this becomes a true part of his game, if this becomes a constant in his game, Ayo has, I would say this, like we talked about Vooch slowly merging in Orlando Vooch to what he is going to be the third role on this team. We're seeing that offensive game of Ayo from Illinois now come to the NBA if he can make that consistent.
And we talked about that, right? I think, I don't want to bring that up now. We did talk about that, right? Like him being more of a combo guard.
Yeah. I
think that all that does is bolster Billy Donovan's rotations.
For sure.
Right? Like you look at Billy's rotations now and with him as a combo guard, and you're saying, okay, so you're going to be able to then play a little bit of the 2 guard. So that means that we can put Caruso in off of the bench, you at the 2, and we can rotate it that way, right? Like now it just adds so many things to it. Even DeMar DeRozan bringing the ball up, going down, getting set. Ayo's coming off of screens trying to get himself open, right? So many things that Billy Donovan can do with that. I think Ayo's kind of a real key piece going into this Wizards game. And I mean, you got to keep up what Bucci's doing. And I'm sorry, bro. The first half of that game, what the heck was that, Bucci? The rebounds were there. Love it.
Rebounds and defense were pretty solid in that first half. Everything offensively was terrible.
It's like they got a test to see, like, hey, is it maybe it'll work now? Maybe he's a.
But remember, we did say though, in that, especially the first quarter, the Bulls very much defaulted back to how they ran offense last season.
Yes,
Vooch included. Yes. Now it started improving in the second quarter, but the second half it was much better. So we just again, and it makes sense, right? It's easy to think, hey, You did things different in the preseason, but you still have to train yourself, right? You still have to make that now be the muscle memory saying, hey, I need to go back to doing this when I find success. It's going to take some time. There are going to be times when things break down and teams get out to big leads like the Miami Heat did, to where this team, at least is while they're still building that chemistry or building that continuity in that style of play, that they're going to default back to some of the bad things that they did last season. Yes. It's just that now we're seeing them make adjustments, whereas before they didn't make adjustments. So
when you get uncomfortable, comfort is where you've been.
This is true.
That's where the Chicago Bulls were in the first game. Miami came out, punched him in the mouth real quick. Oh, whoa. What? They got up. They going. Shoot. We got to shoot ourselves back in it. No, you don't. Run your offense, set things up, play some defense.
Yeah.
We got to go back. I'll give you a prime example. Me and Nick Angstead talked about this over on Locked On NBA the other day.
You just said that man's last name. Shout out Nick, by the way.
Shout out Nick, Locked On Mavs. He does Locked On NBA with me. We did Locked On NBA. Dallas blew a 22-point lead yesterday because Jason Kidd was uncomfortable with the lineup that he was running because it was new. Christian Wood was cooking. And he went back to the guys that were there with him in the Western Conference Finals.
While on the other side of the ball, Phoenix set Chris Paul in the fourth quarter.
Bro, bench that man. All right, hey, bro. Hey, this is about whole sidebar. Our childhood's slowly coming to an end, bro.
Oh, for sure. You're talking about the players that were big in our childhood? Yeah, they're almost all gone, bro.
Tough, bro.
I'm trying.
They forced Melo out, which I'm kind of pissed about. I'm not gonna lie. Like Melo, I think can still play like 10, 15 minutes. Don't let it die, Melo. Keep going. Put a hoodie on.
Matter of fact, who would be the last man standing from that generation?
Probably.
See, KD wasn't my childhood. I was adult by then. We got that little bit of age gap.
No,
so
that's true because I was probably in. When did KD come into the NBA?
It was 2008.
I was still young. I was definitely I was going into high school. In
2007. There was 2007 draft.
I wasn't even in high school yet.
I was 20. I was 20 years old. So that was literally as my adulthood. So that's why I don't factor KD as part of the childhood.
Haize is a vampire, if you guys are wondering. He's actually like 700 years old.
It's you know what's so funny, bro, is that while facially I haven't really aged much, like the gray hairs are starting to pop up, and it's like, oh, motherfuckers.
It's all in the knees, baby.
Oh, well, the knees are fine. I'm good. The knees are good, bro. The knees are good. You saw it. Hey, we was walking around the United Center. I was good. Knees is good.
32 right now. That's what you're saying.
I ain't say all that, bro.
Exactly. Come on now.
I ain't say all that.
No. Yeah. So so your childhood would have been. I mean, it's the same ones. LeBron.
Literally, LeBron's draft class was the last I consider of my childhood, I guess, because that would have been sophomore year of high school. What year did LeBron get drafted?
We taking our childhood all the way to sophomore year.
Hey,
Man,
listen.
I got a long way to go. Then I got a lot of players left, baby. Sophomore year.
LeBron was drafted in 2003.
2003. I would consider LeBron my childhood.
So that would have been.
I was a child.
No, yeah, that would have been. Yeah, that would have been sophomore year. I would say I was on point with that. Yeah.
Dang. 2003. I don't even know if I knew actually what the NBA was. Here's a whole and this is add the human element to it. What's the first NBA huge moment you remember that made you be like, I love this game?
Oh, the Last Dance, the Bulls' last championship. That moment to me, that was it for me. I remember watching it, and keep in mind, yes, Jordan was in the league my whole life, but that was really the season before. The season Jordan returned was the real first time that I was really paying attention to basketball, meaning the movement in the offseason, all that time. That was the first season that I really was paying attention to basketball. So all that to culminate in them winning that final title, bro. I remember we were living in Germany. Me and my dad stayed up literally until I think 3:00 in the morning to watch that, bro.
Yeah.
I will never forget that moment.
That's fire, dog. That's fire. Yeah. I love hearing stuff like that, bro, because it's like, how did you fall in love with the game of basketball? Because for me, literally, it was like, I again, being a kid, the first time believing in a player and that player not living up to my expectations. Watching Ben Gordon win 6th Man of the Year. And I mean, it's the 1 year. It's the 1 year where I have no slander for that man. It's probably the only year.
If we're taking it outside of that, also Derrick Rose's MVP, that whole season, because that statement that he made of why can't I be MVP? I remember, people remember that fondly now. I remember people literally responding Derrick, it's good to have, Derrick can't win MVP, and then for him to go on and have the season that he had, bro, that whole season was special, bro.
Here's the thing. See, I'm the total opposite, because I knew the second he said that, I left and I went to school. I said Derrick Rose is gonna win MVP, and it was like Derrick Rose is gonna win MVP. He's not good enough, and I was like, it doesn't matter. He can score 23 points a game. And
people forget too, right or wrong, a lot of the MVP stuff is also the storyline that you could build. The fact that he said that and then went out and had the season that he had. As long as he had a above average season, he was going to be at least in the MVP conversation. Yeah, he had a great amazing season, right?
25 points a game, I believe, that season, right?
It was 26 points per game.
26 points per game. That's it. He was cooking. But we could also see what was going on down in Miami and realize that he wasn't the best player in the NBA.
No, I would say that he was the best player in the NBA that season. I still think he was the best. You can give the MVP to LeBron every year around then. But I still think that Derrick Rose was the best player that season because his team had the best record. The offense was completely built around he could do at that time. Keep in mind that was before they started using the way that Joakim Noah can pass out on perimeter as much as they did. Derrick Rose is absolutely the engine that kept that team running. So I think that it was a well-deserved season. Now, like I said, you can give it to LeBron any season, but I still think that was Mason. Yeah.
I love that, man. I just love hearing stories on when people fell in love with the game, man. So you gave it to the people, man. Shout out to the people out there, man. We love y'all. Let's get up out of here, man. Nick gonna be calling us. I ain't going a little long there, but what's going on there? Talking about the Mavs, talking about Haize's favorite moment. What the heck's going on here? I don't know why I made Nick sound like that. He don't sound like that. I gave Nick the most stereotypical voice. Hey, man, follow us both on everything at Locked On Bulls. Follow me on everything at Pat The Designer. I appreciate y'all for showing love to the channel.
That is hilarious. You can follow me at CEO Haize, the CEO Haize. And thank you for making Locked On Bulls your first listen today. Now for your second listen, go and check on Locked On NBA. The NBA season is here, and our local NBA experts and insiders have you covered on and off the court all season long. All the biggest stories around the NBA every Monday through Friday in less than 30 minutes. Available on YouTube, Odyssey, or wherever you get your podcasts. For Pat, I'm Haize. This is Locked On Bulls. We out, y'all. Peace.